You gave
I think we are live now on YouTube.
good on YouTube. Okay, perfect. So
And I think it's time to.
you gave.
I think we are live now on YouTube.
Good on YouTube. Okay, perfect. So
I think it's time to.
there is some delay, I think.
I think that was from the YouTube channel, but now I mute the YouTube channel.
Okay, perfect. So we can start allowing people to get in.
Yes. I'll send again
Yeah, sure.
the invitation link.
I think we can just wait 5 minutes to see if some others people will join us. Anyway, the webinar will be recorded, so it will be available to all the people registered to the webinar. Maybe they can get the recordings and see the webinar, check the webinar in a second stage. So in 5 minutes we will start.
Yes. Let's do that.
Okay, I think we can start our session, Kirill. So the recording will be the webinar with the session will be recorded. So all the people registered so cannot attend the live session can access the recording in second stage. Anyway, welcome to this informative session where we are going to address the topics of the importance of evaluating and understanding an athlete movement, and we will discuss about our international mentorship program. The Omni Athlete International Mentorship, in partnership with Two Sport for Life, is held in Sofia. This is our second edition. It will take place from 17 to 20 of October 2024 in Sofia, in different locations, the city, because the mentorship is diversified in terms of location, because you will spend 4 days with me and my colleague Kirill Rykov while training our athletes, our professional athletes. So you will have a direct insight on how our methods, our strategies, and the sessions will be performed in a gym for when dealing with strength training session or recovery and rehab, and in a track and pitch when working on energy systems, on conditioning, and so on. Let's introduce briefly the mentorship program. I'm Antonio Robustelli. I'm the director of the mentorship and founder of Omni Athlete. I'm from Italy, working all over the world since 23 years with a background crossing sports science, strength and conditioning, and sports medicine, working at elite level with professional teams in Europe, Asia, USA, and individual athletes. I've been consulting and working with athletes competing in the last 5 Olympics. So, and I am an educator working as a faculty member and program leader at the National Institute of Sport in India for a postgraduate diploma in strength and conditioning. And I'm a coach, lead lecturer in biomechanics at Setanta College for the master's degree in applied sports biomechanics. I will let my colleague Kirill Rykov introduce itself before starting the session. Go, Kirill.
Hello, everybody. I'm Kirill Rykov from Bulgaria, ex-professional basketball player. I played for many, many years, more than 14 years in Bulgaria, in Germany, in Norway. I specialize in strength and conditioning. That was my passion since I was even a professional athlete. And I started studying in the National Sports Academy in Sofia, graduate bachelor, master's, bachelor as a basketball coach, and master's as a strength and conditioning. And I continue my education in multiple online courses, summits, events, and continue to educate not only myself but my team as well. Since we moved back in Bulgaria from Norway with my wife Lilia Rykov, she's a coach as well. We created our main brand, To Sport for Life, and we are helping elite level athletes in their high performance, and we also help young strength and conditioning coaches to develop it in this career. For the past 8 years, we had 3 teams in strength and conditioning. I'm very happy to say right now we are 5 in our team, and we work in Sofia mainly with high-level athletes, junior athletes. We work with different clubs, football clubs, basketball clubs, and we are happy since 2020 to partnership with Antonio Robustelli. I met him in a sport science event in the National Sports Academy, and since then we started doing that kind of events like the mentorship program and his Omni Athlete Performance Foundation course. And I'm happy that a lot of coaches are joining us every time. We are doing 3 times a year these events. And next month, it's time for the mentorship program. And basically, this is my goal, my passion, to educate our strength conditioning coaches in the country and develop myself as a specialist in the area of high performance in sport. So yes, you can check more information about me and my team on our social media. So that's my short background and what we do and how we do. And I'm very happy that with Antonio for the past years, we do so much good work in Bulgaria, and I'm very thankful he's one of the country he's visiting on a yearly annual basis is Bulgaria. So thank you, Antonio, for coming every time to Bulgaria and helping grow up the strength and conditioning coaches and the high performance community in Bulgaria, and not in Bulgaria, around the world. We was with Antonio in Prague in the EuroLeague Strength and Conditioning Summit. I was with him in India in National Sports Institute in Patiala, helping him in the postgraduate diploma program. So yeah.
Good, perfect. Thank you, Kirill. And as I mentioned at the beginning of the session, Kirill is the vice director of the mentorship. So the mentorship will be held by us. And today, the goal of this session is to introduce you to the importance of, for a coach, for a practitioner, for a sports therapist, physio, to understand how an athlete moves, because this is one of the main topics and main factors that we will be spending a lot of time during our mentorship. But most people probably are not so familiar with the concept of mentorship. So what's a mentorship? Most people ask about what's the difference between a mentorship and a course. Basically, a course is an educational format where you are going to sit and learn theoretical and practical things from the perspective of an educator, okay, or from a university, from an institution, from a provider. It's a translation of, it's a transfer of knowledge. Mentorship is different because a mentorship is an experience. Okay, it's not just a transfer of knowledge, but it's a transfer of emotions also and sensations, because during a mentorship, participants are actively involved, and the process of learning, it's more dynamic. So from a practical point of view, during a mentorship, of course, first things that makes the difference is the fact that you are spending more time with us respect than during a course. Okay, more time mean the whole day. So during all days you're staying with us, okay, but you're not just watching what we are doing, how we train our athletes, how we design programs, but you are being actively involved because you need to be part of the team. And the learning in that way is not unidirectional, but is by the bidirectional. Okay, so that's a very important. So you will end up, okay, by learning by doing, okay, not just by listening, which is totally different aspects. And today's topic is movement, because during the mentorship we will spend a lot of time talking about movement and trying to show you how you need to train your ability to understand how an athlete moves. Kirill, just a question. Is my screen visible?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So, why movement is important? Movement is the basic of it's the basis of performance. Okay, we can win a trophy, win a race, win a game, win a tournament, get a medal at the Olympics by performing. And we perform by moving. So the way we move, the way an athlete moves, is the main drivers of performance. Most of the times, coaches make a couple of errors. One error is to overlook the importance of movement, and we can see there's a lot of time when coaches just prescribe the session, the training session, the exercise, without looking at how they move. Okay, there is a tendency today also to perform testing without taking care of how the athlete is moving. Example, it happens all the time today that coaches perform jump testing with a contact mat, with a force platform, and they don't watch how the player, how the athlete is jumping over the platform. Okay, and they are just looking at the data on the screen of the laptop, of the tablet. Same applies when testing for speed. If we use timing aids, photocells to test for speed, okay, most coaches are just looking at the numbers, but they are not looking at how the athlete are sprinting during the test. This is because with the rise of technology, we are losing our ability to look at how an athlete moves. And this is one of the errors. The second error is when coaches give importance to movement and they try to do some sort of functional assessment of movement, they try to fix an athlete movement into a rigid structure, into a rigid frame, trying to give them a score based on something that is not rigid. Movement is not rigid. Movement has been shown to be highly variable. That's where the concept of movement variability arises from. If we want to assess a player or an athlete by giving them some strict information and some strict rule to follow, okay, like the FMS, fundamental movement screen, okay, this is not what really happened in the real world during the complex demands of sporting environment and performance. Because what an athlete is doing in a specific moment of a game, of a race, is not the same and may change in a different situation, because movement and the different strategies that athletes adopt to move are influenced by several factors. So athletes are not moving the same way, especially the more experienced. Okay, so the concept of movement variability has been defined as a normal variations that occur in motor performance across multiple repetitions of a task. If you look at the picture here in the slides, you can look at the complex relationship between two factors. complexity, and predictability. Okay? Optimal movement lies between the middle of these two elements. Look at the two pictures below in the axis. On the left, you can see a movement path that is highly chaotic with no order. Okay? Too much chaos. Okay? On the other side, on the top right, you can see a movement that is too static, too rigid, with no variability. Okay? So this is a type of movement of an athlete who is not able to adapt his movement strategies depending on the game situations. On the opposite side, you can see an athlete, a player who is having a chaotic, okay, as a completely lack of movement stability. So there's are the two extreme of the spectrum. Go up in the middle, you can see the optimal blend between complexity and predictability. Okay, that's a movement path that is not really strict and rigid. It's not the same repetition by repetitions. It's changing, but it's changing in a not in a chaotic way, but with more order. Okay, that's where the movement of an athlete, each athlete has an individual, we call it bandwidth. So a range that is safe for the athlete in a biomechanical sense to perform some actions. The variability of movement, why this extremely important? So it's an error to trying to fix an athlete within a rigid structure. Movement is highly variable, and usually it starts with a strategy, then move to an execution, and at the end it's leading to an outcome. Okay, the strategies that the athlete is playing or the player is adopting before moving is depending on several factors. It may be the time of the game. A type of movement can be different at the first minute of a game respect than the last minute of the game. Okay, different strategy. It may be different if in the stadium, in the court, okay, there are 10 people watching the game or 10,000 people watching. This can influence the strategy of the app. So there are a lot. So it starts with a strategy, okay? And then the type of strategy being decided by the player lead to the execution, okay? So the actual movement being performed. And the final outcome will be the success or not of the execution of the strategies, okay? So that's why it's extremely important to always look at how an athlete moves. And one of the moment that is most, how to say, efficient for a coach is the warm-up. During the warm-up, we have time to look at how an athlete moves freely. Okay, so by looking at how an athlete moves freely over time, we can understand how an athlete is moving, and we can individualize training or recognize abnormal movement pattern, imbalances, weakness that we can address. Okay, movement is important. So during a warm-up, coaches, that's another error that is commonly done. they just prescribe the warm-up for the athletes to do, okay, without looking at the warm-up session, okay? Maybe having a cup of coffee or talking with the other coaches without looking at because some athletes are sometimes underestimating the importance of warm-up, so they move in a suboptimal way. So it's extremely important to understand the individual variation of each athlete in a movement. And we will spend a lot of time during our mentorship for to help you understand how to use your observation skills in order to better understand them, better know your athletes. Of course, improving your coaching skill and coaching capabilities. I would like now to have Kirill adding something on this topic and how we struck the mentorship, and after that we will ask for, we will give you 10 minutes for questions and answer. If you have questions, you can directly ask us, and at the end we will give you more detailed information for joining the mentorship. We have still very few spots available, and yeah, now I will let my colleague Kirill Rykov to add something. Please, Kirill.
Yes, all the things that you said are very important, and I can add that especially for young coaches, one of the problem is that they don't think critically. They don't think, as you said, to observe, watch the movement, and watch the movement of the athlete from the moment they enter the gym to the moment they leave the gym. And this is maybe a lack of experience, of course, maybe lack of education, maybe lack of knowledge. And I was like this more than 10 years ago. I was professional athlete that, I just retired, and I want to develop myself as a SAC coach. And I didn't have all the tools I have now, from contact mats, photo cells, accelerometers, dynamometers, and all the technology that I can monitor now the athlete from the nervous system to all the biomotor abilities and control it through the technology. And back then, at the beginning, I was just, okay, I have to do this because I read it in the book, or because this mentor told me. But along the way, you start thinking critically, and you start observing, okay, because back in the days, I didn't have, accelerometer to see the speed of the barbell. So basically, I was even timing with my stopwatch. Okay, boom, boom. Okay, how many, half a second, whatever, was the speed of the bar, and slowly I improved myself. But the perspective was, when I take the time now, before, is the more I surround myself in more experienced coaches, mentors, like you, the more I grow. And that's why our mentorship program is so good for all levels of strength and conditioning coaches and trainers, that we show them exactly how to do the things in a practical approach, and how to think critical, and how to observe. And it's not only this, they do it. And I think this is the one thing, just, thinking critically and thinking out of the box. And me, I watch my athletes, how they move even before they warm up. Okay, because some of them, the body language, maybe they're, tired, or maybe they have schools, and they training and they didn't sleep. And this is the way how you observe, even if they subjectively say, okay, and I'm not tired. You can see that they're tired by the way they move. And when they start to practice, you can observe and see if it's a speed training. You can see how they, even on the beginning of the, agility work, or on the running mechanics, you see these balances, and you see how they step on the left foot, on the right, or if they change direction. You don't need speed gates and photo cells to measure that. They're slower on the, change direction on the left foot than on the right. But if you observe, you can manage this thing with everything, regardless: strength exercise, speed exercises, plyometric exercises, jump mechanics, etc. And the coaches, I think, is one of the most difficult skill of a coach to develop through the years. And the sooner you start thinking about your eye as observing the athletes, to develop how to even catch if something is happening with the athlete biomechanically, and you can see it and maybe even prevent some injury along the way to the future. But the other thing I want to add is about movement, and related to movement, it's even earlier, like even in the loom, in the body, when a baby is developing the nervous system and the brain. Because I don't think a lot of people are getting so deep when we talk about movement, that they can say that, okay, if, let's say, reflexes, nervous system and reflexes are not in the nervous system, not developed proper through the first years of your life. Like, for example, even the sympathetic and the parasympathetic pathway of the autonomic nervous system, in the first 3 years, the baby is only sympathetic, and then after the 3 years, they start developing the parasympathetic nervous system of, digest, relax, and we see so much right now, even with the athletes, that they are all in the stress mode and the sympathetic mode. And even think about this way in a movement, because we have three components in order to make a movement. We need sensors, the sensors, the brain, the sensor, the proprioceptors. Then, we have the nerves, and then we have the muscles, and that's how, on the nervous system way we do movement. And if something is happening with the nervous system and the brain, so we have these balances, not develop properly, not develop our brain, I think this can lead to even postural problems, and then this can lead to problems in the performance, in moving in the sport. And if we stimulate even just very basic stuff to stimulate your feet, stimulate your eyes, this is the first thing of the proprioception, to understand if especially sport vision is so important for quick reaction time. And only these small things on the warm-up can trigger your proprioception, your nervous system, and you can increase by 15% your strength and your reaction time, just basically massaging your feet. And you are a specialist in feet and foot function and gait analysis and gait mechanics. And I remember one of your first courses when I was attending, just observing the athlete of walking, because I think the gait can tell us so much about an athlete. Are they pronated? Are they supinated? Are they tilting? Are these the hips, how they move, the shoulders, and all this postural analysis, just by looking your athlete how to walk, can give you so much. And we're not going to get so deep into assessment, like static assessment, that you can do even just making a picture and see the picture of the alignment of the body, of the posture. And as I said, if you go even deeper to the nervous system, if you didn't develop properly, it's I don't know if you know about this study about a cat, that when a cat is born, there was some study, they hang the cat in the air, so the cat never touched the ground. And after a time, the cat got blind because they want to prove that when we don't use, the pulse of the cat, or we don't use our feet, they're connected with the eye development, and they're connected with the brain development. So if you have any problems in the feet, this can definitely become some problem along the way with brain development. When we have brain development problem, nervous system problem, postural problem, then even digestive problem, and along the way we can go in the rabbit hole so deep of understanding the athlete's movement and observing it. So that's why I'm just giving some food for thoughts for all the people that are watching. They're gonna watch it after that on the recording. Is that try to get deep and see how this thing can affect your athletes and help them. Not just do, okay, I pass the functional movement screen and I do all these tests, the overhead squat, and I do the active leg raise and all the manual muscle test, and then that's it. I think you can always find something in observing your athletes. And I think the other thing is, okay, assessment and testing is important, and we do it all the time with our athletes. But after that, if you don't prescribe the right program, if you don't prescribe the things that your athlete needs, not what you need, don't go in the coach's approach, centered approach, then the things can happen much more effective. And at the end of the day, the goal in your athlete is to perform and to have results and to have less injuries. I think this is the main goal. And the movement, and not only, even if you get deeper and ask your athletes, not only how they move and how you see them, but how they move out of the practice, how they move if they are standing on the chair all day because they're students, or if they're sleeping on a bed, couch or bed or whatever, and how this thing can affect the movement in their practice. And I think this is big question, because especially because we have a lot of students that come to us, athlete students, from one of the best swimmers, tennis players, basketball, football, etc. They sit on the chair in the school for 5, 6 and more hours, and they come and they have to warm up, prepare the body, nervous system, and start and perform. And I think this is a big thing, especially when you deal with young athletes and students. And if we keep them in this loop of without getting and finding out what is the cause of a problem that we see and observe with the coach's eye, I think we can miss a lot of big picture. So yeah, I think this is something I wanted to add. Antonio.
Good, perfect. Thank you. Good. Just want to give a couple of information about how the mentorship is structured. So basically, it's 4 days from the 17th to the 20th of October in Sofia. You will start in the morning with us around 9. So the first thing is having a briefing. So you will briefing session. So briefing session is about explaining our athletes what we are going to do during the session, and we will start with a morning session of 1 hour and a half duration. It's a training session. Then we will have a break. We will get a lunch break. We will have a workshop at the end after lunch, and a round table. The workshop is a sort of small, course where we are sitting and we are giving a topic to get a deeper knowledge about specific topic and problem in sports science and strength and conditioning. Then we will have a roundtable discussion with all the participants. Then we move to the second session, training session of the day. Still 1 hour, 1 hour and a half duration. And then we have a half an hour break, and we will go for recovery rehab sessions when we are performing recovery methods, recovery sessions, or rehab in case of a of an athlete trying to return to competition and return to play. So this is the structure of the mentorship. So of each day, of course, we will have different athletes of different sports, ranging from basketball, football, and so on. So individual and team sport athletes, and different locations. So we will have track, we will have pitch, we will have gym. So that's in a general and global overview of how the mentorship is structured. Now I will give you it's time to make some questions if you have some question about the topic of the session, about the mentorship. We are here to answer. And then after that, Kirill, if you want to give them just some information about how to join for the mentorship, as we have left few spots available. So
if somebody want to ask a question,
yeah, if you have a question, you can use
raise a hand.
The raise hand option, yeah, on Zoom.
I can unmute you, and or you can chat. You can write down on the chat that you want to say something. You can even ask the question on the chat. It's no problem. I will check if we have any questions on YouTube. In the chat. Is anybody? Meanwhile, I want to say that.
Okay, sorry, Kirill. It looks like there are no questions. So, if you, or maybe there is one in the chat.
Yes, there's one. How can you prevent muscle injury with any kind of tests in warm-up?
That's a very general question. There is not easy to answer without contextualizing, but in general, because it depends on the site of muscle injury, and let's say that if some athlete is very fatigued, you need to prevent this way before. So what I mean, because you are talking about warm-up. So if the athlete is fatigued in a warm-up, so there is something wrong with the relationship between load and recovery. So we want the athlete to be ready and to be fresh when starting a new training session. Okay, so of course, a good warm-up can have an effect on prevention, or what I like to say, reduction is the most appropriate term, reduction of muscle injury. But there are no tests that can prevent. Of course, during a warm-up, we can observe if an athlete is not able to move properly, and we can try to address this imbalance with different type of strategies, especially with stimulation, with manual therapies, and so on, in order to let him perform safely during the training session. But this is something that needs to be contextualized. And if I have to say that there is no a single test, but what you can do is using your knowledge. So if you properly understand biomechanics and how altered biomechanics can influence performance and can make an athlete more susceptible to injury occurrence, then you already have the tools in your hand to impact an athlete health and performance. But this is a very general answer. We will address a lot of this topic that are very relevant for coaches and practitioners in general during our mentorship.
Yes, and I can add something that even if you do the best warm-up and the athlete is fresh, you can still have some minor injury, because injury is part of of sport and elite performance. And of course, we as coaches are trying to minimize them as much as possible, but there is no such thing as fully prevention. And if you see that the athlete is fatigued, you have to take the objective and the subjective, because subjective is, the athlete is coming and say, hey, coach, I'm tired. Can we do something else, or can we do some recovery session or whatsoever? But maybe the athlete is just lazy. And this is the part of you being a sports psychology and know your athletes, as a person, as a character, and read between the lines and see, okay, he's telling me the truth or not, especially if he's a soccer player. You have to be careful with the football players. But the objective side is you can perform after the warm-up some readiness tests that can give you objective results and see, okay, he's ready, he's performing on the level I want because of this readiness test. But again, you never know, baby. Maybe he can get injured again. So this is the tricky part and the good things in our job, because you have to look for so many things and so many, in the whole ecosystem, and connect the dots and make a picture. So the athletes, as Antonio said, a good periodization, a good training program is never gonna lead to overtraining and using the athlete fatigue right before the session. Our goal is to make the athlete ready for the session without this fatigue. And this is it. Basically, this is my take on this question of observing objectively, subjectively, and getting constant feedback from your athlete. And very important thing, making the athlete trust you on 100%. If they trust you on 100%, you can get the best out of them. And even if they're fatigued and you tell them, okay, this is the right thing to do, they're going to trust you and they're going to be more primed. Because if the nervous system, as I discussed earlier, it's a huge thing. If they're not, the nervous system is not primed, and they're not motivated, in the best warm-up, the best training, they can get injured because only of these two components. But as Antonio said, we cover all this thing in the mentorship program. All these 4 days, we go step by step, and you see how we work with our athletes. You see from a side that how we warm them up, what's the topic of the session, what's the time of the period of the annual periodization. Are they doing season? Are they off season? Are there cyclic sport? Are there team sport? What is the goal in general of this athlete? And much more details about how to be a strength and conditioning coach and work with high level athletes. And that's the good thing about the mentorship program, that is not just we giving you information, lectures and stuff, and then you have to go and practice it when you go back to your teams or with your athletes. You do it right there. You can stop and you can ask questions while we train with the athlete. Then you can try it by yourself. And the other thing is you have 3 extra online workshops every Sunday after the event. We gather like now on the Zoom, and we discuss how you did after the event. Did you apply the new things that you learned? Did you struggle with something? Do you have any problems? Of course, we have some topic of the workshop, all these 3 works every Sunday for 3 weeks after the event. And I think this is that's why we decided with Antonio to do it, because this is the follow-up. We are trying to follow you up after the event, because our goal is to help you. Our goal is not just to come, give some money and then, okay, thank you, bye. Our goal is to help you. So when you go back to your team and you apply what you learn, and then there is better effect, then even your head coach is gonna say, okay, this mentorship program was worth it, because okay, maybe we have less injuries in the end of the season, maybe we improve the performance of the athlete, and that's why I think through the year, this is our best event, the mentorship program. It's basically 7 days. It's not only 4 days, 7 days, because of the online workshop that we add on this price. And the price for me, it's nothing, and for Bulgarians, it's even cheaper based on the standards. So I think even if you divide every day, these 7 days, you divide them and you see how much you pay. You go disco, you go party, you pay much more. You go to the grocery store on the weekends and you pay more. You go to the movies and you pay more. And I think this is nothing compared with the investment that you do in yourself as a coach, and the benefits that you're gonna meet with other coaches that have the same motivation of developing themselves. And I think the brainstorming that is happening in between the session is huge. And we meet with Antonio, coaches from all over Bulgaria, and even from Macedonia, Romania, Serbia, they're also coming to the programs. And then this community and the energy that you will get for these 4 days is gonna take on for the next 3 months at least. So you can have the energy of, oh, I learned new things. Or even if you don't learn new things, I'll be surprised if you don't. But you're gonna have some idea that's gonna, like a flash. Oh, okay, I didn't think about this thing. I'll try it with my athletes. Or you see something and then, you have an idea and you develop yourself in this idea. So I think events like this, and even for me, that's why I'm trying to be in events like this on a monthly basis, at least once every 3 months, because I want to develop myself even more as a strength and conditioning coach. And this is so important. And that's why I'm trying to develop this community in Bulgaria with strength and conditioning coaches. And that's why Antonio's coming, 3-4 times a year to help you out, guys. So don't waste this opportunity, sign up now. And if you sign up by the end of this weekend, we'll give you even more, because it's discount. It's discount for Bulgarian citizens, is discount from 1,900 to 1,300. So we have already give you 600 level minus, but we're gonna discount all of you now if you join us by the end of this weekend with 5% extra, because okay, it's business, yes, but our goal is to help and develop this community. And that's why Antonio is traveling all around the world. I was with him in India, I was with him in Prague, and I was with him in different events throughout the world. And that's why they invite him in every summit, regardless basketball, high-level Premier League summits, and he's educating people around the world, because I think, in my opinion, he's one of the few sports scientists that was involved in the high-performance consulting, coaching for so many years. Because Antonio, you started when you was 18, 20, something like this, right? And
yeah, 20, 21.
and now you're 60, right?
16.
16, yes. And we have fun, guys. We have fun, and all of you that was part of our events, we have fun, we joke, we enjoy the time together. So I think this is the extra add on everything that we spoke so far. So I'm looking forward to see you on the mentorship program next month. You still have time. We have some few spots left, and I guarantee that it's gonna be beneficial for you, and you're gonna learn new things, and you're gonna get better after our mentorship program. So don't waste any time. Sign up now. If you have any questions, you can contact me on our social media. You can email us on info@twosportforlife.com, or you can email Antonio, or just call me if you are in Bulgaria. You can see our cell phone on the website, twosportforlife.com. Just find some of the channels to contact us if you want to join, or you have any questions. We'll be happy to answer you. And I don't think we have Ilya. He asked the question, but I don't think we have another question so far. Let me check in YouTube if you have other questions. And you can always ask questions, on our email, social media, regardless, strength and conditioning, higher performance in sport, because that's why we're here, to help you guys.
Okay, so I think that we can close the session. So thank you very much for attending. I hope to see you in a couple of weeks in Sofia for the mentorship, and in the meantime, for any question, as Kirill said, you can get in touch with us, and we'll be happy to help you and support if you are interested to join the mentorship. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, and we're looking forward to seeing the mentorship program and our future events. We're going to start now adding more and more online and live in Sofia events that you can come and visit us and just become part of our community as developing the strength conditioning coaches, trainers, and coaches in high performance in sport. So I wish you good night, and I'll see you in our mentorship program.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.